Sweet dream.
You know, he's a regular guy who's down on his luck, who's made a string of bad decisions, and he decides to get himself out of a bad situation by making a couple more bad decisions. But he's a good guy. His intentions are always good. His heart's in the right place. I just think he's, making bad calls has become a bad habit for him. Steve always thinks he's got a handle on the situation, but it becomes pretty clear it's way out of his control.
Anna is a Russian girl from Omsk, very determined, with good intentions though. She's very in love, and she's trying to help Vlad, obviously, from being drafted. She's the one who sort of stays really centred and keeps it really together, and always keeps the two guys, committed to what they're doing.
There's a lot to tell about Roger. Roger's like the head of a family. He's the father, and it's an interesting family to say the least. But it definitely reminds me a lot of other families. I think it's flawed, it's interesting. Roger and his ex and his mistress and all his children are facing life full on. I think you've got to like the characters you play, or you've got to find a way to like the characters you play. My character that Roger is influenced his family in maybe not the most positive ways sometimes, but I think his heart, like probably all dads, his heart's in the right place.
Jane is a beautiful woman who has kind of lost herself, I think. The mother of a young teenager and married to a man who's she's sort of lost touch with. She feels really alone. We're not alike, but I can completely empathise with her, and I've certainly felt in past moments in my life some of the things that she feels very strongly, particularly that loss of who you are. And it's quite a dark, sad part of the story, and so the comic things, which I can see, like Josh is just constantly hilarious. I'll be intrigued to see whether any of Jane's story is funny. Can't tell at this moment, but there are moments of where it is obviously meant to be funny, and I hope I am. But I really hope people are weeping. So I don't know.
Colin Thompson is a troubled man. The thing that's not working for Colin is his marriage at the moment. Things have kind of cooled off. Cooled off to very cold with his wife. He's not exactly sure what to do about that, so he goes looking for alternative, both virtual and real, in an effort to get some passion back into his life. I think the lesson is keep track of your credit card receipts. Cash? What's wrong with cash? It's spooky. We are identical. Other than the whole veterinarian thing, for me what I like is it's a serious kind of role to play. I normally get kind of lighter, sort of more comedic sort of role, so it's a serious sort of part to play, which I'm looking forward to. It's a mature role as well. It's a man in midlife trying to make sense of it, and it's a tricky old time to navigate. On the page, he's not necessarily a sympathetic character. So the funny thing is, my character is meant to be, forgive the word, a perv. As soon as he sees Isabel, he's locked on to this girl, and I do various looks that people say, oh, that is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. And I never thought that I had that particular look about me, but obviously I do. I've moved into that stage where if I was 20 years younger, it would be adoring, middle-aged, creepy.
Tommy is a very innocent guy. He's salt of the earth, and he's a nurse, and he's Lisa's boyfriend, and that's what he devotes his life to. Tommy is, he does see the good in people. He is supportive. He'll do anything for Lisa, and yeah, I think there's none of that kind of sinister, macho, sinister kind of bad boy thing that Colin and Roger have got.
Lisa is a very highly sensitive, slightly neurotic, middle to late 30s something woman who kind of sees herself on the cusp of ending her kind of prolonged adolescence and going into adulthood-parenthood, but doesn't quite know whether she's with the right guy or whether she's in the right time of life or whether she's ready or not. So she's sort of somehow still trapped in her childhood in a way, and looking back at her family dynamic and reflecting on that, and a lot of her emotional life is very informed from the family dynamic she comes out of, and she still carries that quite deeply. I completely relate to that point of her life that she's at, where she's looking at wanting to make that next step, but looking around going, well, who's going to make it happen, and not knowing how to do it. Hopefully I can use all those feelings and bring that kind of truth into her predicament, which I think is a very modern kind of female dilemma, which I see around me every day and talk to women about every day.
In some ways she's like a 30-year-old, like in a 14-year-old's body, but then there's also that really beautiful vulnerability that shines through as well. So that kind of diversity made it really fun and interesting to play her. Reading her observation like really gave a much better insight into her and how she thinks and the character. And it also, like for the audience as well, it's really great to see just a kind of younger point of view as well. Like that she's in this crazy world of adults and all their like crazy relationships. But then it's just really beautiful to have like such a young girl like kind of saying what she thinks and how she feels and giving all of them advice as well. And a lot of it, like I could relate to, like all the young, like trying to find her place and all this crazy world of sex and all of that. So it was very like, I just thought it was just a lot of people could relate to it, and it was just, she just sounded like such a fun character to play as well.
Rose is a mother of 3 grown-up kids, and she's a homemaker, really. I think Rose is a woman who's really dedicated herself to her family, and family is really important to her, and she's thought she was living the dream in a way. I mean, I have children, so I can identify on that level, but I think she's also someone who sort of likes to see the best in people.
Cheryl is a woman who is in, I guess, her late 40s. I know it's a stretch for me to play that role. But she has never found Mr. Right. She's suddenly become very lonely, and she meets Roger, and even though he's with a lot of baggage, married and, family, and he's not Mr. Perfect, but to kind of cope with just having company, I guess, as one's getting older, Roger is her guy. She's very vulnerable. There's a lovely side about her. She would do anything for anyone. That's how I see Cheryl, and she's a bit of a party girl too. I mean, she does have a little tendency to mutton dressed as, lamb.